It's Nick and Mike's top 100 games. But does anyone care what they have to say? I know I don't. Cause they may dab, they might scream, they may say some things that are plain wrong.
Dab on it, dab on it.
But they are dumb dumb bing bongs.
Matthew Juice better.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy.
I'm Mike Murphy.
We are the Brothers Murph, and this is the continuation of our top 100 list. This is going to be 80 to 71.
Boom, boom. Top 100 games of all time.
Yeah.
According to us.
According to us. Not according
to
you.
these two.
I'm sure in the comments there have been many things like, you guys are idiots.
And here's the thing. You're right.
You're not wrong
You're
about
not wrong.
that.
You're not wrong.
But I do like these games.
But you know what the cool thing is like whether or not we're right or wrong about our games, the point is that the decisions are pure.
Yeah, they're all 100% ours.
They're 100% ours.
They're not influenced in any way at all.
Not at all. We're not bought in any one way, and I just want to reiterate that because it's very important. I feel like there's some people, it's like, they're getting paid to talk about these games. They're getting paid.
No, we're sure not.
We're sure not getting paid.
We don't get paid to talk about anything.
About anything at all. We're 100% independent, free.
Yeah. So speaking of that, let's go ahead. Let's start the list. No long intro. Let's get into it. Let's go into our number 80.
Bam.
That's 80 in harmonica.
Song number 80 is brought to you by 100% pure maple syrup right from Canada.
It's from Canada.
It comes in a can up there.
What? How do you even get to it?
I can't drink this.
But you can hear how delicious it is.
Listen how delicious it is.
It's so thick and goopy.
I want it though. I just want to drink this. But
I know.
I don't know how to
Apparently
get it.
it's good though.
This is an odd choice, Canada. Odd choice. Speaking of more odd choices, my number 80.
Is it odd?
No, I think it's quite good.
Okay.
That's why it's on my top
I was like,
100.
interesting. Good segue.
It's not. You know what, Nick?
What?
You know what it is?
What?
It's a Dice Tower Central, baby.
What is it?
By Arcane Wonders. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We're leaving that in.
Just in case, I try not to say game companies because sometimes they change.
No, you're right.
I was like, it's Arcane Wonders. I was thinking, like, oh god, I hope I'm not making a terrible mistake. It's Viral, folks.
Oh, I love Viral. Yeah.
Viral is my number 80. It's an awesome, fun spin on an area control game.
Yep.
But the areas are areas of the body.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you can infect the brain. You can infect the heart, the lungs, all the stuff that's in the middle. It's a bit squishy for me, but it's like, it's but it's so cool because you have all these viruses and you can move them around. You can kill other viruses. You can multiply. But the more you do, the kind of more attention you draw to yourself. Yeah. So then, like, doctors start researching who you are and why you're in the body, man. And then if you make too big of a ruckus, they wipe you out. Yeah. They find an antidote, basically, and you get wiped out, and you have to come fighting back in. Yeah. It's just such a fun, interesting twist on an area control game. It's by far, I think, the most appealing area control game to me in terms of theme.
Yes.
Because, like, I'm not gonna just... Area control isn't one of those where it's like, what kind of game is area control? Oh, I'm gonna want to play it.
Yeah.
And like,
They're
you gotta sell me a little more. I'm not against them, but you gotta Viral. I was just like, that's the theme right there. I'm like, I want to play that for sure.
Yeah, it's got super cutesy art, and it's just great. And the game is pretty mean, like a lot of area control games, because you're like killing other viruses. Yeah. But I think because of the theme and because of the art, and because of ultimately how kind of like silly the game is, despite the fact that it's like a medium weight normal game, it never feels mean.
Yeah,
and I love that about it.
Yeah, and like the whole thing is like you're gonna get wiped out of the body at some point,
eventually,
and it's not at all like you're out of the game.
No,
it's just something that's gonna happen, and the whole game is built, I feel like, to make sure that it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of catch-up mechanisms and things in places so that you are in it till the very end. It's going to be a tight race for sure every time. And it's just like, I just love it. I love it. Every time we played it, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's grand.
Yeah,
great choice.
That's my number 80, Viral.
My number 80 is a game that has been mentioned before. We got a little crossover here. And this is a game that is very large for how small it claims to be. And that is Tiny Epic Quest.
Okay.
Tiny Epic Quest... we've played it, and the first time we played it, I was kind of like, all right, just kind of like, all right. And then we played it again a couple times, and I actually like it a lot more than I thought I did originally. It's by far my favorite of the Tiny Epic games. We haven't played very many of them, but I like it more than the other ones. And I don't know, it's cool, but it's a game where you have all these big kind of tarot-sized cards, and it makes, like, honestly, like, a pretty darn big board. It's a very large game for being in such a small box.
It packs down small.
And you have your little meeples, and you're essentially going around the kingdom trying to like get spells and trying to push your luck, as you mentioned, which I think is a really cool part of the game. You're like pushing your luck and stuff, and you're getting different items, and you're trying to like do little quests and stuff. And it's a fun little game. I really like it a lot. Again, it packs down to the normal tiny epic size, which are a little box like that. I wish it was I wish the cards were like normal player size cards so it could be smaller.
Like the realm that you
Yes,
built?
yes. Sure. I wish because they don't necessarily really need to be that big. They could be smaller. I think it would cramp up the board a little bit, but then it would like actually be kind of true to its name. Because the game is like great, but like you need it's not like a game where you're like, oh, with this little space of table, we can play on it.
Right.
It's like, no, you need like a big area for it. So
it's just very travel sized.
Ultimately, it's a little minor complaint, you know, but I really like the game a lot. It looks great. It's done very efficiently. I like little item meeples. They get like little swords and stuff. It's great little gimmick. Tiny Epic Quest. I like it a lot.
It's a good one.
Number 80. Let's go on number 79.
Let's do it.
79.
Like, you know, like an industry that I feel like no one like appreciates anymore, but it's really thriving with great quality and prices. Dude, it's grandfather clocks. No one talks about grandfather clocks anymore, you know? And it's like the Clock Depot is really like a great place to get your grandfather clocks when you inevitably want to pass them down.
So wait, you're talking about giant clocks?
Yeah, like the big pendulum
like the thing
clock.
that signals, hey, this house is haunted for sure?
Yes, exactly.
You mean the thing that you could just put on your wrist instead of like carrying around on a truck?
A watch on your wrist and pay like $4 at a gas station. But these cost thousands of dollars.
Okay.
And you can pass them down to your grandkids who don't want them.
Makes sense. Clock Depot, you said?
Clock Depot.
Let's go there now.
My number 79 is going to be a game that I think it'd be a lot higher if it played better at 2, and that is the Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
Right.
I like this game a lot. I really like the theme. I love the worker placement aspect of it. And we've played it at 2 a couple times, and it just feels a little too easy. But nonetheless, I really like the game. I just like it at higher player counts, you know? And it's one of those things where it's like, and I think it'd be higher if it scaled a little bit better. But nonetheless, Manhattan Project is a game... well, Manhattan Project Energy Empire specifically. We actually haven't played... Yeah, we actually haven't played the Manhattan Project, the normal one. But it is a worker placement game where you are essentially making some kind of energy empire. You're getting all these different kinds of buildings, and you're doing all this stuff, and you have to pay with like oil and steel and all this kind of stuff, and all these like cool, really beautiful components. And one thing I really love about the game is like the very beginning, you get a nation.
Yeah.
You get a nation. You can be like India, or you can be like Iraq, or Iran,
America,
or
France.
America. And each nation comes with a different starting resources and kind of like a starting ability. Like
gives you direction, maybe.
Yeah, if you have like Iran or Iraq, you start with a lot of oil because they have a lot of oil there. But if you're in America or India, you start with different stuff, and I think that's cool because it kind of drives you to go in a certain way at the beginning of the game, and I think it's really, really cool. And then there's like pollution, and you're making pollution as you go. If you can get coal. Like, you can have coal dice, and you're rolling out dice to get your energy,
Very dirty,
it causes a lot of pollution. You can pollute the water and pollute the air and all this stuff. And then you have to deal with it because pollution isn't good. So then you have to try and, like, depollute your pollutants off the board. And I think that's a really, really cool way to go about it, being like, hey, this is all industry, but you don't want to pollute if you can. And I think it's really, really cool. And at 2 players, it's fine. It just feels a little too open, and it doesn't feel
to the point where, like, I was worried we were playing it wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, are we messing something up?
Because it didn't feel very tight. And I like worker placement games that are, like, kind of like, oh, I need him to not take that spot. And by the end of it, we had like no pollution or anything. It was a little too easy.
Maybe we got lucky. I don't know,
it's
but
possible,
it felt too easy.
But anyways, I really like the game. It's beautiful. I love the components. And it's just wonderful. I really like Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and that is my 79.
So my number 79 is epic. It is so epic. I've never completed it. I've never played through a full game. I've never completed this game.
There'd be some of the comments is like erroneous, and just like nope, can't be on your
Doesn't
list.
even count.
I know what it is. Go on.
And this is one that, man, I want to play it so bad right now.
It's gonna happen.
It is going to be War of the Ring.
It's true.
Second edition.
Yeah, no one plays first edition.
Yeah. But it is amazing. It is Lord of the Rings in a box.
It is.
And it's just a 2-player clash. You're either the good, ultimate evil, just slamming together for the fate of Middle Earth.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And it's incredible. And I'm listening to Lord of the Rings right now, this great audio rendition, and I'm just all in the world. I'm like, I gotta play this.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it very soon.
But the thing is it's like we've had this game for a long time, a very long time. When we probably bought it too early in our board game.
Bought it because it was Lord of the Rings, and that was the only reason.
And like, zero regrets.
Yeah,
fully painted, zero regrets.
Yeah.
But like it was at the time like probably heavier than we were really ready for. So like every time we try to play, we'd have to kind of relearn it.
Yeah.
And then we didn't ever set enough time aside to play it because it is a bigger, heavier, longer game. And I really want to play it now because now I feel like we're going to be able to grasp what's going on quicker and easier and really get into it.
Yeah.
But like even those few experiences we've had and given the theme and everything, like it's on the list. And I feel like if we do start playing it regularly, it's gonna rise up higher. It's 79 simply because like it's just doesn't get played very often,
and
hasn't been
honestly
played
won't ever get played that often.
No,
it's
but
just
like,
too big of a game.
Like you go through Lord of the Rings every year, so we'll play War of the Ring every year.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? We'll
At least
coincide
once,
with us listening. We'll go through and all that. It's just so cool. Just like Sauron and all the forces of evil just have basically unlimited resources. Yeah. They can just produce
Well, it's
more.
super asymmetric. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then if you're on the good side, it's like you have all your troops and stuff, but they're limited. Like once they're gone, they gone. And there's like, well, you can make more orcs, no problem.
Yeah.
You can pop them out of the ground real quick. And so it's just like it. But and the thing I like about that is that it feels very true to Lord of the Rings, where it just. If you're on the side of the Fellowship and everything, you just feel like there's no chance. You have no chance to make
hopeless. It's pretty hopeless.
Yeah, and you can kind of like get in these different areas and you like do a siege and try to turtle and just stay alive as long as you can, like in Helm's Deep. Like I got this, like gotta wait for sunrise on the fourth day. Like,
exactly.
But
pretty much,
and it's just like it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
shows you how good it is. You've never played a full game of it, and it's still in your top 100.
100%. Because those times we played, I'm
good.
like it immerses me in the feeling of this amazing tale that's been such a crucial part of our life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously we're not the only ones who think highly of War of the Ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my 79 and I haven't even played a full game of it.
Boom! Nice. Let's go on to 78.
Pow!
78.
So my number 78 is an asymmetric game.
Ooh,
it's an asymmetric area control game. And it's really, really fun, especially at like 3 or 4 players, and it's going to be Cry Havoc.
Wow, this is higher on your list than mine.
Yeah.
I figured it was going to be... I thought it wasn't going to be on your list at all.
Hey, man.
Hey,
The
that's how it
list
goes.
makes itself, brother.
The list wants what the list wants.
The list wants what it wants, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think probably got bolstered because we typically would play it at 2-player as we do most of our games, and Cry Havoc is fun at 2-player.
Yeah, it's great.
Then we played at 3-player and it's more fun. And there's this AI character, the Trogs, the kind of natives of the planet that you're trying to exploit in various ways.
Yeah.
And at 4 players, those players are actually played by someone. Mm-hmm. And so that just kind of took it next level. Like we played it at a convention at 4 players and it was just really awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
It was just a really fun experience. Having all the factions represented, all kind of going at it. And yeah, I mean, it's a really cool, interesting game.
Yeah, it's great.
That I really appreciate. And every time we play it, and it's rare that it gets played, but every time we do, it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's like a fun area control game.
That's great.
Depending on your faction, you're either trying to kill everything, spread out, trying to mine the resources on the planet, or you're just trying to get everyone the heck out of there. If you're the natives and you're the Trogs, you're trying to be like, can you not? This is my home.
Can you not?
Can I live here, please?
Can you not?
Is that okay with you?
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, that is my number 78. Cry Havoc.
Cool. My number 78 is a game that's all mysterious with ghosts and essentially like kind of like ultimate clue, and that is Mysterium.
Righteous.
Is my 78. Mysterium is a great game. It's a great game where it's a cooperative game, but it's a weird game because like one person essentially plays like half the game And then everyone else plays like the other half, which is why I really like Mysterium with like 4 or 5. It can go up to 7, and I'm like, no. It's because then everyone else is just kind of sitting around doing nothing. But essentially, one person is the ghost, and the ghost cannot talk. They're not allowed to talk at all. And the ghost has been murdered by someone. And each person around the table is an investigator. And there's a whole bunch of people, places, and things. And it's essentially potential people that could have killed the ghost, potential places, and potential things. And the ghost is behind a big screen, and on the screen, each investigator is assigned a person, a place, and a thing. And then you have these big old, like tarot-sized cards that are kind of like Dixit artwork, like really trippy, really beautiful artwork. Just super weird. It's like cupcakes flying and all this kind of very trippy stuff. And they're dream cards. Exactly. They're dream cards. So they're meant to be kind of weird and trippy. And you essentially are so like say like Mike is an investigator, and it's like this one woman is the person that's attached to him, and she's kind of this old woman like that. And so I then have to send him dream cards because I'm not allowed to talk. Send him dream cards to try and point him at that woman. Try and be like, this is your person. So the woman might be wearing like a red dress. So I give him a dream card that has like a lot of red. And essentially, but again, it's all his interpretation and really the group's interpretation of what I'm sending out. Yeah. And so you're constantly, and so once he gets the right person, then I'll move on to trying to get him to guess his location. And you're doing all this simultaneously. So I'm handing these people cards and these people cards, and they're all discussing and stuff. And it's really, really fun. The issue with it at higher player counts is like, it just becomes like, there's one ghost and 6 investigators, so you're having to hand out cards to all of them. It just goes on too long.
I'd almost like want to like do 2 ghosts in that situation, and you just kind of split up. You do this half, you do this half, and we can kind of like
you can do that. You can. Why not? You're right. Why not?
Just because like it can be, it can be a lot of work.
But it's super great, especially at like 4 or 5, because then it's like 1 and 3 or 1 and 4, and then it's like it's great. You know, it's really, really wonderful. I love it a lot. It's an interesting take on that game, kind of like Grown Up Clue in a weird way. But I love Mysterium. It's really, really fun. And some we kind of started playing on our Twitch stream too, and that went really well too, which was great, you know.
The chat gets to guess, and we're just ghosts handing out cards.
Just handing out cards. It was super awesome.
And they're super good at it. They're way better than we are.
They're way better than we are about it. But either way, nonetheless, Mysterium is my 78, I think. And great game. Wonderful game.
Boom. Let's do 77, dude.
Whoop.
77.
Alrighty, my number 77 is a game that I think is going to keep climbing because I like it a lot. It is a 2-player only game, and it's a game that rhymes with West Central Produce.
Oh, yeah?
And that is Pagoda.
Pagoda. West Central Produce. Get it? Doesn't matter. Point is, you can get fresh avocados in California any time of year with West Central Produce. Got it. So Pagoda, what's that about, Nick?
Pagoda is a 2-player game where you are building pagodas. Pagodas are those really tall buildings that show up in like Japan and like Vietnam, a lot of like Southeast Asia, but they're very, very beautiful. They're very tall buildings, like they kind of like the thatched roofs and stuff.
Multi-tiered.
Wonderful, wonderful, cool buildings. And they made a game about a 2-player only game called Pagoda. And what it is you're building pagodas, but it's this really cool like 3D board.
Yeah.
Because what it is you have these little like hexagonal like cylinders that are in different colors. And you're building them, and they're the columns that go between the floors of pagodas. And so you're building out the columns, and then you put a pagoda on top, and you build the columns, put a pagoda on top. So you end up having these like kind of tall, about like this big little pagodas, and you're essentially trying to score points. And how you score points in the game is by building columns on different levels. If you build on the ground level, each column you build is 1 point.
Right.
If you build on the second level, each column you build is 2 points, and they can go up to 4 levels. So if you build 3 columns on the 4th level, that's 12 points. It's a lot of points. But then once you build the roof, which is the 5th level, that's the end of that pagoda. And once you build 3 pagodas, the game ends. But it's really cool of like, it's a lot of strategery and stuff because you don't want to set up your other person. Like what I don't want to do is like for my last move, build a roof. Because then Mike, on his turn, can go boom, 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 build 3 columns. And especially if it's like the 4th level, I just gave him 12 points.
Yeah. It's dependent on cards and these different colored cards. Yeah. So I would need to have the right colors to do that. And there's a little bit of public information. So we'll each know 2 of the cards that we have. But then there's cards in the hand. So that's the whole key is like set yourself up without just setting this person up for a bunch of points on their turn.
And it's cool. And like whenever you build, they're all different colors. So whenever you build a roof of a certain color, like a red roof or a gold roof or a purple roof, you get some kind of special ability. And they're pretty simple, but like using those special abilities or building different colors of roofs because you're like, well, I already have the purple special ability, so there's no point in me building a purple roof because I can't get the special ability again. So like, oh no, I'm gonna build a gold roof because I don't have that one yet, or I just used it. So, and it's really, really fun, and like, it's become one of my go-to 2-player games. I just taught it to our friend Crook the other day, and he really liked it. And then they played it at Game Group the other night, and like, I was looking at it, I'm like, God, I love that game. And just like, Pagoda is a great game. If you like 2-player games, pick it up. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Pagoda is my 77.
Boom. My number 77 is a game that lights up the night sky, but just don't talk about it. Keep quiet.
Oh, really?
It is Hanabi.
Yeah, it's not on my list.
Dude, why do you hate this game, bro? What is wrong with you?
I don't know why I don't like it.
It's fantastic.
I don't.
Fantastic. So it is a card game or a domino game if you want to pay way too much money for dominoes.
That's true.
Where you know everything that's in the game except for what you have in your hand.
Yes.
And so it's this cool thing where you're holding cards and you're holding them facing the center. So you can't see it, everyone else can. And you're trying to communicate with each other to let everyone know what cards you have so that you can then play cards in order. There's 5 different colors and you have to play them hopefully in order, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 without skipping stuff, because if you basically skip, you burn, fuses and everything, and you're trying to put on like a really grand firework display. And it's just basically however many points you get by the end is how good you did. So you hopefully want to get 5s across the board, have 25 and a perfect score and blah, blah, blah. But it's just a really fun game because the way you communicate, and you can only communicate so many times, is really specific. You can say to one of your fellow players, you can say, hey, this card, this card, this card are white, or this card and that card are 3s. You can only give values of either a number or a color, and you cannot say, hey, these 2 are white. If there's a white one over here, you have to put all of the information out there. So it gets interesting because you don't want to lead someone down the wrong path where they're like, that means this is the white 2. Boom! Like, no, it's white, but it's a 1. We already played that. You could have discarded that, which would have given us more time.
Yeah.
It's just this really interesting game. And I think part of the reason I love it so much is because I played it with a buddy of mine a lot. And we got this whole, like, second language where, like, it was never about what we were saying. It was about what we weren't. So if I said, if I was like, you have 3 white cards, he's just like, I know this is a green 4. Thanks, buddy. We were on another
seriously
level, and it was awesome for us two to play. And I just think it's a great game. I think it's a great,
it's super
cooperative, clever game.
Yeah. It's I don't hate the game. I just don't like it. I've never been that huge a fan of it. And I've played, I think, twice with you and Zach, who they have the second language, and I'll just be like, I was playing wrong, and they were very upset, and I was just like, "This is not
right."
I just didn't know the language, It's ultimately fine. It's just never been my favorite game, and you've always liked it a lot more than I have. Always, though. I mean, that's never been not the case. So
you can't come to West Central Produce now.
That's true. That makes sense. It's too bad I can't get fresh avocados.
Boom. Or asparagus.
Where I live in North Carolina. I just know you can't get avocados there all year.
Yeah,
you can here. It's great.
Boom, Cali for life.
77. Move 76.
Do it.
Bang, bang.
76.
God, I'm hungry, man. Could really go for a New York slice.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
all
I
right.
split, you choose, we eat. Good, got it.
We
boom.
eat, all right.
Bang, boom, bang, bow. What do you want? It's pizza.
Sorry, people from New York.
This is there's a spot on Brooklyn accent.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
New York Slice is my 76. It is an awesome, simple, light, I split, you choose game. That was this game that we saw at conventions forever.
Yeah.
It's just like people were playing this thing. I'm like, what the heck is that? It's just like these people got pizza. There's just pizzas everywhere.
Most make games more hungry than any other game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's like weird photorealistic pizza.
Kinda, yeah. And
weird.
it's bizarre, but it's a really fun game where you're going to play just a few quick rounds where you make a pizza. And then you have to split it up into portions that equal the amount of players, basically. Yeah. And however you split it is up to you.
Yeah.
You can split it where, like, this is just 1 slice, and this is 5, and this is 4. You know what I mean? Each pizza has 11 slices, and it's just this weird puzzle of trying to split it in ways that are going to be advantageous, hopefully, for you. But if you're the splitter, you also pick last. So you're going to get whatever's left over.
Yeah.
So you got to hope that, like, you do it and you make things appealing for other people, and then ultimately what you're trying to do is have the most of each type of pizza.
Yeah.
Because there's numbers, 2 through 11.
Yeah.
I think, or 3 through 11,
Yeah,
and
3 through
it's like if you have the most 3s, you get 3 points. If you have the most 5s, you get 5 points at the end. So there's this kind of like,
Yeah.
control over the types of pizza, and it's just an interesting, fun game that plays up to 6. It's a great filler for game night.
A big filler, but it's a great because it's 30 minutes or less. That's with teaching.
Yeah.
It's a great filler.
Yeah, and there's these little specials that you can tag on to either slices of pizza or have as its own individual thing as one of the splits that you make. That just give like a little. Sometimes it's end game scoring. Sometimes it gives you an ability in the game. They're just like little things, and it's just an awesome light game that comes to every game that we do because it'll inevitably get busted out when there's just that weird. There's 4 people who aren't. They finish their game, but no one else has finished their game, and
totally.
And you play it. So New York Slice is my number 76.
Alrighty. My number 76, let me double check it real quick. Okay, so not. My number 76 is something that is forbidden. It is forbidden dessert. Forbidden desert, actually. I wish it was forbidden dessert because I like dessert.
Get some flan.
But forbidden... flan. Forbidden Desert is a great game. It is the second and now a trilogy of games of Forbidden games. It's Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, and now Forbidden Skies?
Yeah.
Forbidden Skies, which we just played, which is also fun.
Yeah.
And Forbidden Desert is a game by Matt Leacock who did Pandemic, and it's pretty Pandemic-y, but I think it's different enough. But it's a game where you essentially have crash landed this like weird kind of steampunky ship thing. I don't know. A flying
it's
ship.
Crazy, so obviously there's no idea how to fly it.
Why not? And you essentially have to go around and find the missing pieces of this ship. So you have to
spread
find
all over a desert.
You have to find like the propeller, and you have to find like the crystal core, whatever, steampunk stuff. But it's set on this like 25 5x5 grid of different like desert spots, and you're going around, you're flipping them over, trying to find it. But there's a sandstorm going around, and the sandstorm is like an open spot in the board, and it's constantly moving. And whenever it moves, if it moves this way, that means this tile that was here switches with it, and then that tile gets sand on it. So the sand is piling up all over, kind of like the diseases and Pandemic, and you have to go around and like shovel out sand.
Yeah.
But it's really, really interesting the way finding the stuff works, because there's going to be two tiles for each thing you have to find. So 2 propeller tiles, and one might be here, and that one will say like it's somewhere in this row.
Yeah, it'll have arrows pointing up and down saying it's in this row or in this column.
So the thing is, like, if the storm makes that move, it'll move.
Yeah.
But it's still always in this row.
So essentially these items are getting blown around by the storm.
Exactly. And then somewhere else on the board, there's another propeller one that is like this. It's pointing this way. So wherever those 2 lines meet, like it points this way and then this way, boom. This is where that is. So the thing is, like, it can move around, like, and it's so clever the way they do it. I'm like, that's such a smart, simple, brilliant way to hide stuff, because you never know where it's gonna be. Because even if you find one of them, it can just move around, and it's just, it's so fun. It's great. I love it. It's a great light little game. And it's cheap too. It's like $25. It's super cheap.
Yeah,
and it's like
always in like Barnes and Nobles, these places like that.
It's great.
It's very accessible, very available, and like it's a good game for the hobby because it is cooperative.
Yes,
you get a little bit of a power. It's easy to understand. It's fun. It's really tough. It promotes cooperation and discussion. It's a good game for the hobby. All those types of games, Pandemic and stuff, are great for the hobby because it'll get people excited to play more board games.
Yeah, Leacock smash it out of the park again. Love it. Great game. Forbidden Desert is my 76.
Bang. Let's do 75.
75.
What you doing?
I was writing on a label, these Avery labels. They're great, man. They got True Block.
Okay, and that means something?
It basically means it blocks anything else. If you're covering up another label, you won't show the label that's beneath it. So if you ship something or whatever, you want to reuse that box, you totally can. Look at this. True Block. Boom. Nailed it.
I feel like you must have written something very complimentary.
Now it says handsome. Says handsome. Avery. Cool. True Block.
Boom. What's your 75?
I don't know. My number 75 is a great 2-player game. Another 2-player game. And this game... it's a wonderful 2-player game, kind of abstract strategy game, but it's gorgeous, and that is Santorini.
Oh, okay.
Santorini is a great game. I'm a big pusher of abstract games. Don't need to look like crap. They don't need to look bad. They don't need to be drab. They can look really good.
Prereq for a good abstract game.
Yeah, and Santorini is a great example of that. It's ultimately this abstract strategy game. You could do it with discs and whatever. No, they made it beautiful and they made it awesome. But it's a game based in like Santorini, Greece, where I've been.
Must be nice.
Where'd you go? Syros?
I still don't know what island I was on.
It's a great story. It's a great story how Mike ended up on a Greek island that he did not know he was on. But nonetheless, it's a great game where you essentially have two people and you're moving around and you're essentially, they have these big blocks. And Santorini is the stereotypical like whitewashed walls with like the blue caps you see on Greek islands, so staring at the sunset with their dress blowing in the wind kind of thing. It's that. And so you are building these towers and you're essentially trying to get up to the third level.
Right.
But at the third level then goes a dome. So if someone puts on a dome, you can't stand on top of the dome. So that blocks that level. So you're trying to just move around and maneuver and trying to get it so you can get up to a third level without someone blocking you.
Right.
Because someone can block you from the ground floor. Like if you're on the second level about to go up the third and they're down here, they can just throw a dome on top, I guess. You know, it's just like, hey, you know, but it's super fun and it's just tactical and you're moving and then it's really, really great as it is. But on top of that, the game comes with a bunch of different God cards. And the God cards are all special abilities. So it might be like, I can build twice or I can move twice or I can do this and this and this. Sometimes they have different win conditions. Like if you're someone, if you go up 2 and then you drop down to because you can just jump off the building. If you ever go down 2 levels, you win. On top of the fact that if you ever get up to a third level, you win. And so you can win certain ways. It's just great. And it's a wonderful game. And it's, again, really cheap, but it's a beautiful abstract game on this big 3D board. And it's like, this is how abstract strategy games should be. They don't need to be just discs. You can have it be pretty and still really thinky and really tactical and so much fun. I love Santorini. A great 2-player game. One of the best. Love it, love it, love it. Santorini's awesome.
Boom. That's awesome. My number 75.
That's handsome, but in Italian.
Okay, cool.
Idiot.
My number 75 is one of the more excruciating games I've played. Like, it hurts. You're just like, you gotta be doing stuff, and it's hard. It's very difficult. It is Heaven and Ale.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I really like it, man.
You like it that much? I'm 99% sure it's not on my list at all. Yeah,
it's a great game. It's tough because you're moving around this board, basically getting pieces to put out into your little lands or whatever, and it's just this interesting thing that, like, I don't even know if I fully understand yet. I've only played it a few times, but basically you can put stuff on the dark side of the board or the light side. The dark side's going to get you like money and things like that. They're going to help you. The light side's going to help you like raise resources and get points, and you're trying to surround stuff on the board, and it's just this game that just like you just like I can't get anything done. I don't have any money. I don't have this. I'm just struggling.
It is a hard game, yeah.
But like I quite enjoy it still. It's not like it doesn't turn you off. I'm just like, oh, I got to do 15 things I can't do. I can do 0 of those things.
1, yeah.
And it's just a really tough game that, like, it's this high on the list because it's kind of grasped me so much, and I still don't even like. I don't think I've mastered that game at all. No. If
I sure haven't.
If
I know
any.
that.
So yeah, it's just a really fun, interesting game. It's very pretty. The art's great. And there's like basically all these like tracks you can move up on, like different resources, and then you're trying to like brew. It's thinky. Yeah. Like trying to explain it is hard. I'm like, that's the nature of the game. So the point is it's great. You should try it if you're interested in having a time where you're just going to be like a lot. Exactly. Heaven and Ale could be the game for you. And I'm just terrible at it.
Yeah,
but I like it.
Yeah. It's a good game. Yeah, I don't like it quite as much as you, but it's fine. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go buy it today. It's overpriced, though.
Oh, yeah, that game is
wicked overpriced. That's the only thing is, like, I like it. I really want to play it, but it's like $80. I'm like, pass. Never mind. Catch it on sale. Heaven and Ale, though. Great game. 75.
Let's move on to 74, shall we?
Let's do it right now.
74!
You know what someone tried to get me to do the other day, Mike?
What?
Was buy a JanSport backpack. Why would I do that?
Why would you bother?
Why would I do that when I already have a backpack?
Yeah.
And that backpack is made by the great company LL Bean.
Now, you might think, this just looks like a beaten up old backpack.
It is.
It is. This backpack is like 25 years old.
Yes, it is.
And we're not even kidding.
Nope.
It is.
It's got my initials on it.
It was given to us by our
grandparent, yeah.
by his grandma. I lost mine.
Yeah,
but
you
I
had
bet
it.
you that thing is still putting around somewhere.
Bet you.
Someone has got MLM on the back. And
Yeah.
I hope it's their initials because it certainly is mine. That thing cannot die.
Yeah, LL
I'm
Bean.
pretty sure it's Voldemort's Horcrux. It's the
Yeah.
last remaining Horcrux.
Pretty much.
Can't be destroyed.
Can't do it.
LL Bean. You want to buy one backpack for the rest of your life? LL Bean's the only way to go. Get an LL Bean pack. You're welcome. LL Bean, dude. That's branding right there. Cool. So, my number 74 is a game that I dare say has probably been replaced, but I quite like it.
Ooh.
It's a tile-laying game where you're building a castle. But this castle is crazy!
Oh, really?
Because it's the castle of Mad King Ludwig. And
Let's
Mad
check
King
out.
Ludwig has odd tastes.
He does.
Wants very specific things.
Yes.
Certain types of weird rooms connected to other types of weird rooms to get points. And it's just this really interesting game of like trying to put like food rooms and utility rooms and outside areas and sleeping rooms and living rooms and put them together in strategic ways to score points and get money and things like that. And it's just a really fun, cool game where you all end up with these very different looking buildings or different sizes, different shapes.
Yeah.
And there's these cool bonuses and everything. It's just a lot to think about. And the only problem is that there's this whole market system. It's made by Bezier Games.
It is.
I always think of it as kind of like a follow-up to Suburbia. Just because they're both... Is it both Ted Allsbach?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so both Ted Allsbach and everything. So I always think of it, although they play differently. But in Suburbia, there's a market system where the rightmost two tiles are going to be free, and you just have to pay the cost of those individual tiles, and then basically the newer tiles you can buy, but you're going to have additional costs on top of that. The Castles of Mad King Ludwig has a market system, but each player every turn is like a master builder.
Yeah.
So they set the market. They move things around, and the idea is like, I know Nick wants this one thing. I'm going to make him pay for it.
Yeah. You don't want to price it too high because then they won't buy it.
Yeah, and if they do buy it, they're giving you the money.
Yeah.
So that's how you get money in the game is you kind of have to price these things to sell, and then you pay to the bank, essentially. And it's like a really cool idea.
Yes.
I really like it, but ultimately it's too much like work. I never like can think of a good way to go about it. It takes time. It just doesn't like resonate with me.
Yeah.
The market thing very much. I love the idea. I'm like,
So do you think it's like next year? Do you think it's probably gonna pop off your list, or it'll go down at least?
I think it's going to go down only because what we recently purchased is Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, which is the mashup game of Between Two
You kind of
Cities.
get that castle's feel.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
now I'm like, ooh, I love it because I love the
I was-
idea of the different types of rooms and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I was
it's
looking at my
just-
list right there, which is why I had my phone for a second, because I was like, "Is this on my list?" It's not on my list.
Yeah.
And for me, it's because I'll straight up say I hate the master builder mechanic. Like Suburbia is a very similar game in terms of like the market and everything. The market just slides down. Like I think it was Z on the Dice Tower was talking about like it just makes his head just clutch up. I can't think of what, and for me it just drags the game out and makes so much like thinking that doesn't, I think, add anything to the game. So I actually enjoy playing this game on the app. Because then I'm just playing against AI characters. I just don't really care as much. And I kind of just like price stuff, whatever. And I enjoy it more that way.
I agree with that.
But like the physical game, I'm kind of like, on at this point. Because I really don't like that master builder mechanic.
And I really like the game, and it is still on my top 100. I feel like it might go off with the Between Two Castles game, because then I get the flavor and stuff that I like and the way the rooms work, but without some of the fiddliness.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's
still a good game. It really is.
It's so cool. And I feel like the market, that's what makes the market stand out, is I'm like, everything about this is so awesome, and this part is so frustrating. For me. And it's just like, I'm not like, I don't have like a good mind for,
and some
like,
people love that part, but to me it's just, it's not
cool.
my jam.
Yeah. So
That's
but it's
totally
my
fine.
74, so it's still on the list.
Totally.
I still think it's a great game.
I still like the game ultimately. It's a good game.
The app is a lot of fun,
great.
so it's definitely a good.
Yeah.
We can get rid of the physical game and just keep the app.
Yeah, totally. My number 74 is a game that used to be, I would say, like this is a good gateway. Well, it's still a good gateway worker placement game, but was like my top. That has since been replaced, but it's still a great game, and I love it to death. And that is Stone Age.
Yes.
Stone Age is a wonderful game, set in the Stone Age. Set in Victorian France for some reason. No, and so it's set in the Stone Age, and you are, you're Uga Uga, and you're going around, and you're essentially making a little civilization, and so you're going around and you're fishing and you're trying to get
Feeding
wood.
your tribe.
Yeah, you're feeding your tribe. You're getting wood. You're getting stone. You're getting brick and gold and all this kind of stuff. And you're building buildings, and you're building huts, and you're also building your tribe and stuff like that by adding more workers and all this stuff. And you're building an agriculture tract. But one thing I love about it, and a lot of people complain about the feeding your people, and the fact that everything is done with dice. So if I put 2 workers, you can put up to 7, I believe, 2 workers in the spot for wood. I'm going to roll 2 die.
Yeah.
And when I roll those dice, you then will take the sum of those dice and divide it by a number. In the case for wood, it's 3. So I would take, if I rolled 2 6s, I got a 12. I would divide by 3, I would get 4 wood.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. And so the thing is, if you add more workers, the chance of you getting more, especially something like gold where you're going to divide it by 6, the chance of you getting it are higher. So you can kind of mitigate someone with terrible dice rolls. But some people complain because you can just roll and not get anything. But at the same time, I love it but also because it's thematic of that time.
Yes.
Sometimes you go out hunting and you didn't find anything. Sometimes you went panning for gold and you didn't get anything. And especially one thing I love about this game is the first 2 or 3 rounds, you are just desperately trying to feed your people. You can maybe do one thing.
You can feed them wood, and it's they're gonna eat wood.
You're gonna
they're
eat
eating
bricks.
I don't know what you want. They're eating
it's
bricks.
you can do one thing, and the rest of your workers are just trying to feed your people because your agriculture track is 0. But as you move that up, you'll start getting a certain amount of food every single turn just automatically. Yeah. And I like it because it shows civilization building. In the beginning, it's very hunter gatherer. You don't. All of your time is just trying to eat.
Trying to stay alive.
But as your civilization grows, you have more time to do other stuff because food isn't as much of an issue anymore, which is kind of how evolution and civilization has been. It's just we started building, they say a big turn was when agriculture and crops happened because now people didn't have to spend so much time making food that they could do stuff with arts or science or all this kind of stuff. They had more time.
I think it's Maslow. I think Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's something like that. And the idea is that you can't even think about anything else until you have shelter. And food. And water.
Exactly.
And so in this game, it's now that you have developed these things, let's move on to harder stuff. Let's start panning for gold and whatnot.
Exactly.
It is one of
let's
the
build
most
some buildings because we have time to.
It's one of the most cleverly best themed games I've ever encountered.
I love it, and it's subtle too. It's not it's just, but it makes sense.
It doesn't. You don't think about it as a theme until you start playing it a bunch. I'm just oh man, the food. It's great that the food doesn't. It's not even an issue anymore.
Yeah, so exactly. Because eventually you get to the point where you literally don't have to think about food at all.
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. I love Stone Age. It's great. It's a great kind of intro worker placement game because it's there's not very many spots to go to. They're all simple. Here you're getting wood. You're gonna roll dice. What do you do that divided by this? That's what you get, and you're using that to build building. It's very simple.
So cool.
It's just wonderful. I love it. Stone Age is a great game. That's my number 74.
Good call, dude. Oh.
Yeah.
Well done. Let's do 73.
73.
Let's do it right now. God, I love Stone Age so much.
73.
All right, number 73.
Dude, why don't you do me a favor, shine a light on your 73 with Lamps Plus.
Lamps Plus. Get your lamps today. And I will talk about my 73. My 73 is a great other 2-player game. We have a lot of 2-player games because it's mostly me and this Bing Bong playing.
Just these 2.
So, this is a 2-player trick-taking game called Fox in the Forest by Renegade Games. Dude, wonderful little game.
Clap it up for Renegade Games real quick.
Dude, clap it up.
God, they do good.
They do good work. Renegade Games and Fox in the Forest is a 2-player trick-taking game. And again, we talked about trick-taking game, I think, last list with Indulgence. It's for me, I need something in trick-taking that adds more. It's not just get the most hearts. I just get really bored.
Sure.
Indulgence, the tricks are always changing. This one, it's there's different cards have different powers and stuff. And you want the most tricks but not all of them. Because then if you have too many, you get 0 points, and it's a really interesting balancing act. I'm terrible at it. I'm not good at trick-taking games, but I really, really like it. And you can, throughout the game, change the trump card to whatever you want, and you can do certain things. You get to draw cards. It's It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a wonderful little trick-taking game that's only for 2 players. So if you only have one other person and you want to either learn trick-taking games or play them more, get Fox and the Force. It's a great game, great little art too, pretty. But again, it's just little deck cards. I mean, there's not now. It's not even like
3 suits. Each has 11.
Yeah, it's not
cards.
like 52 nothing. It's just it's great, and it's a wonderful little tactical trick-taking game that's tough and fun, and I'm terrible at it, and I love it.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one. My number 73 is a really fun, I guess, simultaneous selection game. All based around different roles and stuff. And you're pirates. And you're all working a ship. And you're trying to play different roles on this ship all at the same time. Hoping to only be the only one playing this type of role. It's Libertalia. So Libertalia is really cool. Because there's like 30 cards, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
There's 30,
25, maybe.
25 or so, 30 roles that are all on the ship, all the way from parrot all the way up to the captain.
Parrot. Oh.
You know what I mean? And everything in between. And so you'll have like the bosun and the granny
chef
water,
and, yeah,
and the
all
chef
this stuff,
and
yeah.
the brawler and the monkey, you know, and all these different characters that all do different things. And a lot of times it's really advantageous to play your card in this very specific situation. So you're trying to make sure you play your card at the right time. But it's tricky because we are all at the beginning of the game given the same 9 cards.
Yeah.
Of those 30-odd rolls, we get the same 9. It's up to you when you play them. We're going to play 6 rounds.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to... So we all know at the beginning of the game what we have. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this card's only good if I'm the only one that plays it, so I'm going to hold on to it. Or maybe I'm going to try to play it first because I'm going to think that no one else is going to play it first because everyone's going to wait to play it second. So you're playing the players. And you're trying to play these cards. And the cool thing is you get 9 cards, but you play 6 rounds of that first kind of hand. Then what you'll do is you'll get 6 more cards that we all get. But those 3... that you didn't use in the first round, you keep.
Yeah.
So as the game goes, there starts to be more and more
diversify,
differences.
yeah.
Because you maybe didn't keep the same 3 that I kept.
Yeah.
And all around. And so it starts to maybe that one card you've been hanging on to all game finally is, no one else has played it.
Yeah.
You're like, bam, throwing it down. And it's just a really cool game where you're trying to collect booty. You're trying to avoid like curses and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so cool because you're trying to ultimately play kind of like the highest rank in that
Generally,
turn.
yeah.
And it's so fun because you're just playing the players.
Yeah.
It's all the players. You can play it all the way up to like 6, I think, where it's pretty much chaos.
Let's make this one shorter and call it Citadels, but good.
I mean, that's the very roundabout thing that I was going to say is
Yeah.
like absolutely replace Citadel. Citadels
Yeah,
can go
100%.
far, far away now.
Go over there.
Libertalia,
Go
I
over
like
there
the
now.
theme better.
Yeah.
I love the rolls and stuff.
Art is gorgeous too.
Oh my God.
Beautiful art in the game.
Libertalia is fun stuff. And that's why it's on my list.
Yeah.
It's absolutely Citadel's killer for us.
Yeah, absolute.
Yeah.
Absolute.
Bam.
Is that 73? Should
Yeah.
we hit that 72?
Yeah. I mean, you want it?
I guess.
All right.
72.
All right, folks. So getting down to it, 72 for me is a cooperative game. It is very difficult, and it's very poignant to the time of filming this, because California in the last many years has dealt with many wildfires.
Yeah.
And in fact, at the time of this recording, there's a lot of fire where we live, and it's
Like
pretty
half of
scary.
LA is on fire right now.
It's scary stuff. And there are amazing wildfire firefighters out there doing work every day.
Seriously.
And clap it up for all of them. Seriously, true heroes. And the game that I want to talk about is Hot Shots.
Real quick, I saw a meme just talking about that real quick that I thought was beautiful. Really, it moved me a lot. But it was like a picture. It was like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all these people just all in a row and stuff like that. And then there's like a firefighter in front, and then Superman just said, "Welcome to the team." Because superheroes and it made me so emotional. I'm sorry, I saw it literally this morning, and so just go on.
That's awesome. Anyway, so Hot Shots is a game that tries to put you in the shoes of these wildfire
I never want to be in those shoes.
firefighters. Yeah, it's intense work. I thought for a while that I wanted to do that, and it's I mean, that's hardcore work right there. Very important work. And in this game, it's interesting. You build out this kind of your board every game, and it's just various different areas of land and little buildings and stuff like that, and you're just trying to basically stop some of
so hard
of the fire from taking over. And the thing that's really interesting about it is like winds are going to shift on you and move fire in different directions.
It's real poignant right
and
now.
Yes, no, it is. And it's the whole thing about it is like the reality is like you're not going to come out of it unscathed.
No.
Like parts of the land are going to burn.
Yeah.
And with wildfire firefighting, it's not about putting it out. It's about containing it.
Yeah.
It's about pushing it in the direction you want to go. It's really wild the kind of technology they use and ways to move fire in the way that they want to. And this game's all about that. You build fire breaks and different things to try to let's make sure it just stays over here. Let's work it over here.
Stays away from these buildings and all this kind of stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
and you're trying to save you're trying to protect certain buildings and kind of your base and everything. And it's just a very interesting game that if you're playing, each player has just a little bit of a power.
Yeah.
And it's just very interesting because it's not about get the hose out and it's just I mean that if you can do it, great.
Of course,
It's kind of a press your luck game with dice ultimately.
Yeah.
And so it's you could roll, if you roll the right symbols and stuff, you might get a really good roll that puts out some of the fire, but maybe it's smarter just to build fire breaks and you have a couple of cards that give you, or tiles that give you one-time uses of a helicopter and a plane, and just figuring out when to use those. It's a really fascinating, fun game.
It's good. And a game that I feel got super overlooked.
And I think it's a really engaging, cooperative game. And it's
a theme that no games are about. There's two firefighter games.
And both are really great. But I love that you have Flashpoint Fire Rescue for kind of urban firefighting. Yeah, and then you have the flip side. I think both games are,
because they are totally different. Yeah,
100%.
I mean, they
Flashpoint
really are.
feels more kind of pandemic-y. And this one just with the dice and everything. It's just an interesting game that I think about, after I play and everything. So anyway, that's my 72 is Hot Shots.
My 72 is a game that's been on Mike's list before. We're starting to get a lot more crossover here. And that is a game about a party with some raw fish. Sushi Go Party is my 72. I love Sushi Go, and I love Sushi Go Party. It's a great drafting game. Also, $4. It's so cheap, especially Sushi Go.
Very affordable.
But so great. But it's a game, as Mike said, I'll keep it short, but it's you have a whole bunch of different kinds of sushi in your hand. I think 8 cards. And it's a drafting game. Just straight up drafting. So you're going to keep one card, pass the cards to the left. Keep a card, you keep passing around until everyone has all the cards down. Yep. But you're trying to collect sets, and so you want a bunch of different kinds of nigiri. You want a bunch of different kinds of sashimi or something like that. And you're trying to collect sashimi. You need 3 of them, you get 10 points or something like that. And you're just it's just a set collection game, very simple with really, really cutesy art. Just the cutest art in the game. And then on top of that, with Sushi Go, it's just this is the cards you have, boom. But Sushi Go Party, they add a whole bunch of different kinds of sushi and a whole bunch of other stuff like wasabi and all this kind of stuff. And there's a whole bunch of variations in the game. If you want a really mean game, play with these. If you want a really easy or very family-friendly game, play with these. If you want a game that's great with 2 players, play with these. If you want just the base game, play. It's all these different stuff. And ultimately, you can always just randomize it. Yeah. And it's different every time. It plays a big group of people, and a lot of drafting games, it doesn't slow the game down because you're always just passing and passing and passing.
It's the same amount of cards.
It's great. I love it. Sushi Go Party is a great, cheap game, drafting game. Go for it. It's wonderful. Sushi Go Party.
Bam.
Do it while eating sushi, which we've done, and it was lovely.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
So good.
Sushi Go Party is my number 72. Love it. Let's move on to 71. And that's the last of this list.
We're plowing right through it. Dang.
71. So many more to go.
So our number 71 is brought to you by a little bit of holiday cheer. Poinsettias.
Poinsettias are our number 71 sponsor, and
it's
got
Nick, I just don't want you to.
Don't eat it; they're poisonous.
I don't want you to look foolish.
What's up? Sorry,
it's poinsettia.
No, there's no I. It's poinsettias. Poinsettias. It's great for Christmas, and
it's actually poinsettia. Can we?
No,
we need to be a united
poinsettia.
The brand with the Brothers Murph is kind of as 2 things, so we need to be the same. So
no, but we should be the same and correct at the same time. So let's be poinsettia.
But I think most people are more comfortable hearing poinsettias.
I think you're trying to be a little elitist by saying I'm gonna throw another vowel in there. You don't really need that. It's poinsettias.
Listen
here,
simple.
Simple is great.
Folks in the chat, put in the comments below. Is it poinsettia or poinsettia?
Poinsettia.
And you're part of.
Let's just bring a little team mic here. Let's just bring it right here.
All right. You know what?
I know. Just forget.
You know what? Christmas is kids. Christmas is kids. I'm tired of it.
Number 71. Number 71 is a game about fighting, and it is a game about stacking cards, and that is Rhino Hero Super Battle is number 71, which is a wonderful game. It's a great dexterity game where you're stacking cards, and you're stacking these wall cards, and there's tall walls and short walls. and you're putting out walls and then putting a floor on top of it, and then someone will put walls on top of that, and then floor and walls, and you're building up, and you have your little
cards type
thing. You have your little animal, superhero animals, so like a giraffe and like a penguin and all this kind of stuff, and you're moving up. And it just gets crazy, the stacking in this game, because it's like
so fun.
There's 3 different like depots that you can start in. So you'll start one here and then start one here and then start one here, or you can build one up and stuff. But nonetheless, they start connecting in these weird ways. And like for us, we're such agents of chaos that like, because there's some cards that like, there's some situations where you can only use like one wall card, because the general thing is you want 2 walls and this thing on top. It's pretty sturdy. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can only do 1 wall, and you just got to balance it in the middle there. And then someone else will be like, I'm going to put 2 on the other ends of this.
It's so fun.
There's some where you have to use a short wall and then a tall wall. So you have to, like, have it where, like, this floor over here is one taller than this one. So you use a short wall here and the tall wall here or something like that. And it ends up with these giant structures that start getting more and more precarious. And then on top of that, you're rolling a die, and whatever you roll, that's how many floors your character gets to move up. And essentially how you win the game is whenever the tower inevitably falls, if you were the highest superhero, you win the game.
Yeah.
So you're constantly going up, and if you end up on the same floor as another superhero, you guys fight, so you just roll a die, and then whoever loses that fight has to move down a level, and then if there's someone else on that level, they have to fight again. And so, and it just ends up, and there's these like monkeys that you have to hang off it, which just add like weird balance things.
Little dexterity stuff.
And my hands are shaking, I'm like...
No.
I just try to like, and it's so much fun. It's just, I mean, it's a stacking little game, super light. It's just wonderful. It's so much fun. If you like dexterity game, you have kids or something like that, like get it. It's amazing. Yeah. You'll get a box that's so unnecessarily large.
It's so humongous for no reason.
I love it. But Round of Hero Super Battle is so, I mean, it's such a fun game. Absolutely fun. Great party game. Round of Hero Super Battle.
Love it.
71.
My number 71 is about party as well. It's about trying to put a party together, or at least one member of the party. This would be like a D&D party. So if you're playing D&D, it's very important that you roll out stats and everything for your character, whatever your character is going to be. And board gaming is so nerdy that they took a nerdy element of a very nerdy thing and made a board game all about that one part that just is before you do the actual thing. And I love it. It is role play. Yeah. And the whole point of the game is you're rolling out a D&D character, and it's awesome. It's just fantastic.
It really is.
So you get, it's kind of Sagrada for gamers, or a heavier version of Sagrada. And the reason they do that is because you're rolling different colored dice and you're putting them into different spaces, similar to how you would in Sagrada by building the stained glass window. And you're basically putting them into different rows that have different stat attributes, like strength and constitution and your intelligence and wisdom. And each of the areas are going to allow you to do different things with your dice. And you're trying to get like stats in certain numbers. Yeah. Like you want to be, you're a human that needs to be really strong. So you want to have like all 6s across the board. So you have 18. You have kind of perfect stats for your strength. And all these different areas, and you're trying to match up like colors in the right columns that'll give you like points based on this one area, and you want to get like the right values of the stats to satisfy this area, and then you can figure out what your alignment's going to be, and all these things are kind of randomized to give you different little challenges. Yeah. And it's just like a really fun, cool game. And there's things in the market you can buy, and it's just all kind of the way it ties into D&D is fun.
It's great.
You know, you get like weapons, and you get attributes and skills and stuff, but they all ultimately just help you with the game. Yeah. And then there's a great expansion with monsters and minions where it kind of takes a step into the D&D where you get to roll and fight monsters. Yeah, a little bit. You get to fight, which is cool because it kind of like gives you like and then
it adds a great. It adds kind of like something that's I don't think it's necessarily missing from the base, but it adds. It kind of it's like it was here and it just kind of fills the game out a little more. You know?
For me, it's I wouldn't really want to play role player without
and it's easy enough to teach where you can just teach anybody. It's not a big deal.
Because the whole thing about the monsters, like you can fight them or not.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to do better if you do, but it's like, ultimately, if you want to buy something in the market, buy instead of fight. Or if you don't care about the market, fight instead of buy. So now it's nice because you're like, I don't care about anything that's out here in the market this round. Yeah. Well, it's like, well, now you have something to do.
Yeah, totally.
So it just kind of fills out that game a little more. But it's cool because there's all these different factions. There's human, there's dragonborn, you know, all these different... there's toad people, constructs,
it's
dark elves, everything
they'll
that you could want.
Advantages and disadvantages. And stuff.
Slight little stat boosts and dumps and things.
It's great though.
And the cool thing is like a small thing that's really great is every single faction double-sided male and female.
Boom.
So whatever you want to make it.
Love
and guys, board game publisher stuff, it's that simple. It is that easy. Just make it double-sided, one for each gender. Then more people are represented. And I love that about the game.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun, interesting,
Super great.
Yeah, that
I love it.
trying
It's
to
such a good game.
figure out what to go where, and it's surprisingly kind of like heavy. You know, like if you're trying to keep focus on so many different areas at once. I super dig it, and there's a cool thing of you can get score pads that you like physically fill out. So if you like roll out a really interesting character, you can like write all that stuff down, and it's kind of like a jump starter for like playing actual D&D. You're like, I'm gonna save this, and next time I do a character, I'm like, here's my stats. You know,
Yeah,
like, so I
totally.
think that's just a cool,
I agree.
cool like added bonus. Anyway, my number 71 is role player.
And that is going to be it for this 10 right here. Man, we are starting to get into the good and goods. So next list is going to be 70 through 61, and then we're almost done with the half. Oh, so thank you so much for joining us. Again, please make sure to check out our YouTube channel where we do top 10s and all sorts of fun, silly stuff. Check out our Twitch where we live stream a couple times a week over there. It's just a blast. It's all a good time. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here with this journey.
Thank you so much. We'll see y'all in the next section of the top 100. Cheers and have a great day.